Welcome to another episode of the Elevated Barbers Podcast. My name is Bradford Kelly, and I am the owner of Another Level of Barbering and the proud co-host of the Elevated Barbers Podcast.
And this is Delmar, aka the Prince, owner of Royal X Grooming, also co-host of the one and only Elevated Barbers Podcast. Let's start the show. Welcome to episode 108 of the Elevated Barbers Podcast. And Brad, you recently went to the NorCal Expo, and I feel like we should just talk about your experience. I know you did a lot of connecting with different barbers, and you was networking and letting other people know about some things that you have planned for the future. So, just give us some insight on how your experience was with the NorCal Barber Expo.
I definitely would love to share about the NorCal Barber Expo. I feel like for me personally, this was the first time I understood how important and why barber expos are essential for a person that wants to grow in this industry. So, before we get into that, I do want to just drop some information for the viewers at the house, whoever is watching right now. Is that, as you can tell, we're on episode 108. But 108 means season one, episode 8. For the first season, we're planning on having 12 episodes. So we have 4 episodes left, and then we're going to start season 2. Now, season 2 is going to launch what we've been wanting to do this whole time, which is to create even more of a better atmosphere for people that think elevated, as well as are living elevated in the barber and beauty space. So be on the lookout because we're going to have some very special guests, which brings me to this expo. All right. So, D, what's your first question about the expo?
So just given my experience of going to an expo because I went to the Bonham Brothers Hair Show in New Orleans in 2019 when we hosted it. That was our first time hosting a hair show, hair event in Louisiana, well, in the New Orleans area. And I know I was excited just to
Mm-hmm.
get to meet different ones. I seen the lineup, who all was going to be there, and just what was your purpose for going to this barber expo?
For me, going to this barber expo, it had everything to do with connecting with people. This was the first time I went to an expo where I was focused on networking.
Mm,
I'm not a person that actually enjoys networking. It's not an enjoyment for me, typically because of the way that I looked at networking. I thought networking was you going there and you trying to pretty much get over on people so that they could do stuff for you, and it had a negative point of view of it. But through if I don't know if you guys got a chance to tap in, but through last episode, through the Run My Business Challenge, I was able to ask a question that allowed me to shift my perspective on how I saw what networking meant. And so, because I shifted my perspective on how networking went, and I started to understand the value that I bring to the table, and not to feel like I'm trying to take advantage of anybody or feel like I was even trying to even ask for any type of money. Like, it wasn't even about money or anything of that nature. It was more so the intent to make sure that I could create connections with people that was going to be mutually beneficial in the future. So nothing in the moment, nothing at the time. It was strictly
mhm.
bond with people, see what your similarities are, and see your opportunities for yourself to grow. And that's one of the things that I think is key about a barber or beauty expo, is that if you desire to grow in any aspect of the industry,
Mhm.
you want to get to these type of events because you can start to see not your ceiling, but really your stair steps to get to where you want to be in this profession.
Right. I like how you said that, you went there to make connections and
Hmm.
not just strictly be like, okay, well, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, would you like to join? Like I think people forget the importance of building relationships first
Yeah.
before presenting that, I have this, I have that going on. These people don't know you. You see
Yeah.
them on
Yeah.
Instagram, but I mean, they don't really know you. But to provide that face value and
Yeah.
to connect with them on that level, that really means something to you as a person and to them because
Yeah.
you get to connect.
Yeah, I remember my mindset before when I was going to uh these type of expos and these type of events, man. I was literally going there to get discounts on clippers. Like I was just going there just to go and try to find discounts on clippers and trying to get the best clippers because I was still in that employee mindset, man, and just not
Yeah,
thinking of I wasn't thinking higher about my future. I wasn't thinking that high about what I was even doing. I was just cutting hair and trying to make money. That's all I focused on. But man, this shift in my mind over the last few years, I really felt like I was able to take advantage of the expo.
yeah.
So this was good.
So who were some of the big names or just some of the people that you were able to make a connection with at the expo?
I was able to make connections with a few good people off the top of my head. I could talk about Armani. His name is Faze by Armani. Actually, if you don't mind, let me share my screen with you.
Go ahead.
Let me share my screen and allow the viewers that's on YouTube to see where I went and who I was connecting with. Tell me what you see, D, on the screen.
I see the NorCal Barber Expo.
Yes,
Now, Brad, what
sir.
city was this hosted in?
So this was actually hosted in the city of Pleasanton. So it's in the
Okay.
Bay Area of California. It's in the Northern California area. Obviously, it's called the NorCal Barber Expo. And as you can tell on the screen, it was brought to you by JTB 707. His name is Jerry Herrera and Urban Barber College. And so these two came together. Urban Barber College has been blowing up here on the West Coast,
Mm,
have taken over the barber college space and have given a lot of barbers, young barbers, the opportunity to make this a business for themselves and understand how to grow and develop in this industry. And without them and without Jerry Herrera coming together, we would not have gotten this type of a situation. And
is
so
this
go
is
ahead.
is this expo hosted every year annually?
This was the first expo that was hosted by this combo. So
Okay.
Jerry Herrera, JTB 707, he was actually able to host a expo, and it was called the Bay Area Barber Expo. And he
Mm,
did this 2 years, I think it was 2 years ago. And I was able to go out there and visit that, and that was a great event as well. I didn't have no intentions on networking. At that point, I was just going to I don't know, take some classes a little bit, but
mhm.
really I was just going to be in the environment. Nothing really special about my motives at that time because I didn't really have a clear goal of my future. But this
Right.
time it was different. But
And
let
that's
me show
because
you. Go
we
ahead.
grow early in our career. We just get so hyped up off of attending these events that it's like, I want to take advantage of the discounts. I want to see what type of products they may have. The entertainment. But as you begin to grow and develop in your career, you start to look at things from a business perspective versus just, I want to take part of the activities.
Yep. Yep. And so they teamed up Urban Barber College as well as Jerry Herrera. They teamed up with Jay Majors. And if you know anything about Jay Majors is huge in the barbering space in regards to providing opportunities for barbers in his local area, but also exposing the barber industry to be celebrated. Right. So he's one of the ones that started giving out Grammys and different things of that nature to barbers and people that were having a positive impact on the industry itself. So Jay Majors, he came and supported, and also the Squire team was a part
Mm-hmm.
of it. You know about Squire, right? The booking
Yeah,
platform.
I do.
Yeah, all right, it's okay, it's cool. All right, so um, these are some of the people that were there. I was able to connect with Easy the Barber, and Easy the Barber, man, he's such a cool dude. I'm gonna scroll down and see if I can hit these people on their individual pictures.
Y'all,
So,
they had a huge lineup, y'all.
man, this
There's a
lineup
bunch of
was
people that I follow.
major. This lineup was major. Who do you follow that I'm looking at?
I know you showed me earlier Bones. I've been following Bones since man Instagram has been around.
Where's Bones
Bones,
at?
I
Let me
forget his
see.
full name, but Bones. Most of you, if you're in the barber industry, you follow Bones. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Where is he at? Hold on. Let me get him. Let me get him. He was there. Boom. Here you go. His name is
Yep,
Corey.
Corey Bones the goat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So talk
really
about
talented
him.
dude. Really talented dude. I seen how he elevated from the time that I was on Instagram following different barbers. I seen how he elevated. I don't know if he posts as much anymore, but his skill set with fading and coloring is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. He's a real cool dude too.
Yeah, he's super down to earth, man. I got a
Mhm.
chance to spend some time with him the night before the event. And I was like, "Hey, what's up, Bones?" And he was just like, "Hey, man, like that's my Instagram name. My name is Corey." And I was just like, "Really? Nice nice to meet you, man. Like my name is Brad." And so we actually kind of get a chance to just bond a little bit and connect in a more of a intimate environment because it wasn't as many people in this space for this part of the event. So it was really really good. He's a very humble person,
Mhm.
man. You could tell some things have happened in his life that caused him to mature and probably mature at a very fast rate because
Yeah,
this industry can cause you to easily get lost in the sauce, but he's very grounded, very grounded.
yeah, definitely. I remember I started getting lost in the sauce, but I'm glad I shook out of that. It's
Yeah,
easy to get caught up though.
it really is. It really is.
Another one that you just showed was Bazio, Chris Bazio. He's in Tampa,
Yeah.
right?
He's in Tampa, Florida. Yep. Let me
Yeah.
see.
He
Where
has
is
some
he at?
245 brand. I've been
Yeah.
following him for a long time too. It's so inspiring to see these people that you follow, and they started off just like we did, and then now they have such a huge um, following on social media, and like they're great businessmen too. I think he has
Yeah.
tax services. He has more than one barbershop, I believe. He has a
Yeah. He got
superstar team
5.
in Tampa. Yeah, see,
Yeah.
like, and this stuff can be achieved, man. We just, we think, oh, we'll never get there, but you just have to really put the work in and understand business as well.
Yeah. And that's what's so key about these type of events is you get a chance to expose yourself to information from people that want to give the information.
Hmm.
It's not like you going to a class and the teacher don't really want to be there. These
Right.
people like Chris Basio, he cares about barbers being able to level up. Like he cares about them being able to be financially free. He cares about you being able to get better at your skill, but really understand the skill of financial literacy so
Yeah.
that you can really, really understand how to be free from a financial perspective. So, I mean, me and him, we connected big time. I got a chance to
Mm-hmm.
spend time with him. I even helped broke down his what do you call it? His sponsorship space
Mm-hmm.
where he had his vendors booth. I was able to break down his help him break down his vendors booth, and we just really kind of talked for a little bit. I was able to get him on a small portion of an interview. He had to catch an Uber, so he was nice enough even to just stop and do that, even though he was waiting on his Uber. He did that for me, and I really do plan on being able to take his mentorship program, as well as understand a lot more about pie accounting, because it's one thing to have a bookkeeping service and different things of that nature, but it's another thing to really understand how to use your bookings, your
Bookkeeping.
bookkeeping services, and strategize a future plan. And so it seemed a lot like that's what he helps with barbers to do, because uh he has a heart for the industry. And so
Mhm.
for me, I definitely want to understand a little bit more about that, because I have my own, I have an accountant, I have different things that I'm doing already, but understanding the strategy behind certain things is so much more beneficial than just having the structure of things. You want the
Yeah.
strategy more than you want the structure, but you need the structure to have a good strategy.
Yeah.
So,
And I had the opportunity to meet him at the Warner Brothers in 2019 as well. He was doing a demo cut. It was
oh, for real?
him, yeah, him. 360 was there. Get Beam was there, and Fonz. Fonz was the guy he was doing the demo on.
Oh, okay. Man, him and Fonz goes back so far. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
even know. Him and Fonz go back to Arby's. Like when he was working at Arby's, he was able to hire Fonz as an employee at Arby's. But then when he shifted into going into barbering, Fonz followed him, and then Fonz also blew up.
Yep.
So it just goes to show that he talked about this in his class about being a servant leader. He talked about being a servant leader and how somebody that is a leader has to be a servant to those that they are leading.
Yep.
And been an example of that, man. When I got to know him, you hear him talk on Instagram, you hear him talk at different points in times, but man, he's a quality human being. Real
Mm-hmm.
talk. Who else you recognize in here?
Let me see. Let me see. Um, it was somebody you showed me
Oh, let
earlier.
me talk to you about him.
I definitely
Barber
recognize him.
June. You do? You recognize him?
I recognize him.
Barber June, man, he is he's a gold person, man. Like real talk. He grew up in the Bay Area and he's moved now to Arizona. He's opening his shop called Relentless, and fortified his mind he has fortified his mind with understanding that you cannot let fear stop you from being a benefit to others. You can't let your fear or your insecurities stop you from being a benefit to others. His right now, his inspiration is to help elevate and inspire the whole barbering industry because of
Mm.
how the barber industry has impacted him. I was able to get an interview with him, super good interview. I'll be able to, once I get my video editing all done, bro, I'm gonna be dropping these different interviews and showing them. But I was able to connect with a lot of good people, and he wants to be on the podcast. So season 2, here we come.
Season two. I'm glad you kind of got started on our season two lineup, man.
Oh
It's gonna
yeah,
be
I'm
fun.
not. It's gonna be fun. We got a lot of people that we're gonna be bringing. I'm just highlighting some of them that potentially will be able to be on. But this was such a good event, man. I'm so happy that I went. Let me show you. Let me see if I
I,
can find her. Oh, what?
Ivan Zoot was another one
Oh yeah,
that I
where's he at?
recognized.
Did you see him?
In your first class that we had on Zoom during the pandemic, he attended that, and he was a real genuine human being. You can tell he's really knowledgeable about the barbering industry,
Yeah,
and he cares about the business side of barbering too.
yeah. Yeah, Ivan Zoot, he has so much passion when he talks, man.
Mm-hmm.
He is so fired up about what he's saying that if you didn't believe him, you do
Oh
now.
yeah, he'll
You
make you
do
believe
now.
it.
He's a believer. And he spoke about in this particular show, and I think he did this also in I believe it was Jacksonville, North Carolina, the day before or the week before, but he talked about the 10 things that he knows for sure about the beauty and barber industry. And those 10 things, I'm not going to repeat them because I'm not going to steal his thunder in that
Mm-hmm.
regard. But the things that he was sharing were gold nuggets,
Mm.
things that he knows for sure that would any barber and beauty professional will understand that, yeah, that's true. That's true. But he's a good salesman too.
Yeah.
He will bring the money out your pocket.
The confidence
He'll
that he displays and that he talks with. Oh yeah.
Yeah. He believes it so much that he encourages you to believe it.
Yeah. Where can you mentioned the 10 things that he knows about the barber and beauty industry. Where can we find that?
You can, I believe, let's see if you can do it on his website, because you see my screen, right?
Yes. Were there any type of cutting competitions or was this all strictly educational?
No, this was cutting competitions and everything, man. I
Okay.
got a chance to meet some really good people that were in the competitions. So this is Ivan Zoot's website for everybody that wants to find out more information about him. Is really huge on helping people grow their clientele and grow their ability to make money from this industry. He has so many different resources that you can use. He talks about he has so many books. One of the books is the $100 haircut, or $100,000 hair cutter, excuse me. And so he gives a academy for how to do this, how to become a six-figure barber, pretty much. And he has an academy for these things. He has different books that he's written, as I said before. um this is 100 by 100, meaning you can get 100 new clients in 100 days if you choose to follow his plan in regards to this. So he's just a wealth of knowledge. I'm not sure exactly where he may have the selling point, if it's a selling point at this time, for um the 10 things that he knows for sure, but he's definitely been speaking about these things in the expos that he goes to. So tap in when you can.
Cool.
Any other questions about anybody you see before I start to highlight some of the people that had the chance to take their class?
No, go ahead and speak about the some of the people who you had a chance to take their class.
Okay. So I'm gonna blow this one up. So I took advantage of the class opportunities, especially for the morning lineup. So this was the morning lineup. I got a chance to create a great bond with the one at the top of the screen. His name is Armani, and he goes by Fades by Armani. If you can tell right here, Fades by Armani. I
Shout
think
out to
I'm going.
Armani. He just followed the Elevated Barbers Podcast Instagram page.
Yes. And so Armani, he is a quality human, man. He's been in the industry for a while now, but he has a very good mind about understanding business. So he's very big on, what did he say? I think his the name of his class was Change Your Mindset. I forgot the name of it. It was like Change Your Mindset, Change Your Potential. There you go. Look at me. I'm
Ooh.
reading. I'm reading. You see that? Yeah,
Change
change
your
your
mindset,
mindset.
change your potential.
Yeah. And so that was the name of his class. And he began to get on stage and really just drop gem after gem after gem about how your mind is going to be the thing that's going to captivate you, if you don't allow yourself to bring your body, which will bring your mind, into environments that will actually be a benefit to you. So
Mm.
he's talked about, there's this book called The E-Myth, and he read The E-Myth himself, and it's the entrepreneur myth. And he read the book, and the book speaks about three different categories that a entrepreneur is in, that we all need to pay attention to, and we have to learn how to develop. One of them is the employee. So if you are in the employee space, then you understand that you are the one that's doing the labor for the money that you're making.
Mhm.
Then you have the manager. The manager is the part of you that has to understand how things are flowing, and you have to manage the ebbs and the flow, the risks, all of this stuff. You have to do that. And so you want to develop that aspect about yourself, is managing especially your finances. And then the last thing is the entrepreneur within yourself. So it's three aspects of the entrepreneur. It's your employee, your manager, but then your entrepreneurism, right? If that's a word, entrepreneurism, I don't
Yeah,
know. But
it's a word today.
it's a word today. So he talked about those three things because you need to know how to grow and how to continuously advance yourself. So if you don't know those things, then you're going to put yourself at a disservice. But he really went into understanding also financial literacy, tracking your information, understanding why you want to, how you want to do your like receive payments. He
Mhm.
talked a lot about receiving payments and strategies behind that. Like I said, Armani, wealth of knowledge, man. I'm so glad that I was able to connect with him, and so glad that me and him bonded, because I think that we will be able to really truly connect at a deeper level later on.
Yeah, he's gonna be doing season 2 as well, right?
That's what he said. I'm not gonna make too many promises, but I definitely know that he was excited about being on the podcast when I brought it to his attention. So
We're gonna try to get him on the
hopefully,
show.
yeah, we're gonna try and get him on the show. Ivan Zoot, again, as I said, very, very influential speaker. And as I said, he went over the 10 things that he knows for sure about the barber and beauty industry. And his class was so good. Like that's the best way, that's the best way I could say it. It was so good. He chose not to even be on the stage. He chose to speak from the ground level so he could walk back and forth and people could feel his energy and how he could present some of the products that he wanted to offer to us in person. We could touch it, we could feel it, he could explain it, he could show it on mannequins, different things, different types of combs. So I showed you his website. If you value Ivan Zoot in any way, please go on his website, ivanzoot.com, and connect with any of the products that he has to sell, because man, he's really creating tools and partnering with people that have created tools to really help people that want to cut hair better, faster. He's done that. So go on there, and especially his books. His books are jewels, and I already know which book I'm about to get, because it's the space that I'm living in, and it has to do with understanding how to do price increases. So it's just a strategy and a formula behind it. And so I really care about understanding the formula so that I could, do certain things in my own personal business, but even be able to help others that want to do the same. So
Right.
I want to get that book. Um, did we talk about Chris Basio and what he spoke about?
Well, no, no.
Okay. So Chris Basio, now, if you follow my page, The Business Minded Barber on Instagram, you might have noticed that I posted his class,
Hmm.
almost pretty much his whole class. I just went live and I posted it on my page because Chris Basio, I didn't know this before I got a chance to meet him, but he's a person that truly, truly, truly cares about the industry. And he gave his blueprint for how to become a six-figure barber, one, and then two, how to create financial freedom. So he went through his 5 steps that he would instruct a person to do, and he broke it down in detail but fast though, so you be able to go in there and press pause, write notes, and get back to it. So if you haven't seen it, go to my page on Instagram, The Business Minded Barber, and find the post where it just says Chris Basio. I tagged him in it, and you can just watch the class there. It was super good. It's only about 45 minutes to maybe an hour, because he even extended it a little bit just to finish giving some of the value that he wanted. And I did good at being a camera operator and kind of getting the screen that he was showing,
Yeah.
as well as getting him as a speaker. The audio was a little bit distant, but you know, you could still hear. And so you
Yeah.
could take notes and really, really grind and learn.
And he talked about all those things on the class yesterday.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Between 12 and 1. Between 12 and 1, he tapped in and I mean seriously gave really, really, really good energy and gave a very, very good class. Now, Hairbender, I didn't get a chance to sit there for his class, but
Hmm.
he talked about techniques that you want to know how to do because of the future of the industry. And so one of the things that he was speaking about, and I was able to tap in with some of the other barbers that were able to listen to him, um, he spoke about understanding that long hair is where you get long money. And if you really understand how to create services and do services for long hair, then you can increase your potential for making money faster, because that's where the future is. So if you can create clipper, you can blend clippers with long hair, you're going to make money even faster, because that allows you to get the blending and get the artistry in there, as well as allow you to make the money that Cosmos make from long haircuts. So it was a really good class. I wish I could have been there just to kind of hear a strategy around making more money from behind the chair.
Now, when he
Diego, I
talks
also
about, oh, I'm
oh go
sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead.
When he talk about long hair, is he talking about, of course, the fading on the side going into the top scissor cutting, but is he also talking about styling? Because I see a lot of barbers in California that do the longer haircuts. They
Mm-hmm.
tend to also do the styles too.
Yes. So that's what I believe he was talking about. I wasn't there for that, but I
Okay.
know that for sure he was talking about the cut, right? Because if you know how to do layers with you see different styles that's coming into play, like the mullets, right? The mullets are coming back into style where people are shaving it on the sides, making a nice blend, but then it's going into a mullet and that's long. And if you know how to do that, that's easily $150, $200 a haircut because of the service. Like
Right.
it's not even exaggerated. If you went to any cosmetologist and they were giving you layers or something like that, cutting your
Mhm.
hair in any way, shape, or form, it's gonna be 90 plus,
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. That's
So
a lot of
that's
work.
yeah, it's a lot of work, but actually it's a lot of work if you don't know what you're doing.
Hmm.
Because I'm not a shear cut specialist, it would take me forever to understand how to do that.
Yeah.
But if you know how to cut with shears, that's 15 minutes, $90 in 15 minutes. Not a lot of work.
That's insane.
Right.
That's insane.
It's 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Um, like their long services are, call it a like 45 minutes to an hour, and that's easily $200. The way that the industry is, like you look at how much Cosmos make per service versus
Hmm.
how much barbers make per service, they're easily 50 to $100 more than we are, even at our highest rates. So
That's
he
just
was
six
talking
dollars a
about,
minute.
yeah, you calculated that on your calculator?
Now in my head.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But that's what he was talking about, is understanding that difference. So
Hmm.
combining your skill sets so that you can make more money for the time that you're investing in being behind the chair. Now, I
Yeah.
didn't get a chance to hear anything from Diego, and nor did I hear anything from anybody that listened to him, but I caught the first couple minutes, and he has a lot of good energy, and it seemed like he connected with him and Hairbender. It seemed like they were involved with this guy right here. Where did he go? Where did he go? All right. This guy right here. I don't know if I could zoom in. Ooh, skill set. Okay.
Morano.
So yeah, they were a part of he showed his class, but he was supposed to be at 420, but he came in the morning. He did his stuff in the morning.
Mm.
And he spoke about Coco, the brand, and I actually bought some clippers, a clipper and a liner set from him about digital gap. And so he went into the details and the history behind the difference between what a zero gap is for your liners and a digital gap. And so
Mm.
I can't break it down the way that he broke it down, but he talked about the difference, and you start to see why you don't want things always zero gapped.
Hmm.
Because if you have things zero gapped, like in its reality, then you're going to be creating micro abrasions on the skin, which is going to irritate the skin more, especially if you are a heavy hand, or if you provide pressure while you're lining,
Hmm.
you're going to be cutting skin and not being able to avoid it.
Right.
So He talked about the digital gap and his partnership with the brand Coco and why they allowed him to be the face of what they do, because he speaks always about how when clipper companies come out with products, oh my gosh, oh my gosh,
One of the kids
well,
cutting up.
it's all good. He talked um about how when clipper companies come out with products, they never really consult the barber. They just come out with stuff for the barbers or for the barber and beauty industry, but they don't consult with the barbers. They don't have no real barber input on what would be valuable. And then he said, but when barbers come out with products and stuff like that, they don't have the engineering background to to do what they see in their head and make it efficient. And so he was able to take his mind, because he understands engineering as well as understands barbering, but all was also able to partner with a brand that allowed him to bring his mind into fruition through the clippers that they are partnered in making. So it was really, really good in that regard. Where you go? Are you still playing with the dogs?
Yeah, I like Morano, man. Did he sell the comb, or you weren't able to interact with him at all?
Did he sell the what?
His rhino comb.
Oh, he probably sold those at the station, but his focus was helping to sell the Coco brand on this trip. So
Is
the
that
the
is that his brand? I know it's a new brand. I've seen different people use that brand. I think Morano is one.
yeah.
I want to say S Craft is another one. There's a few different people using that brand now.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see if I could go to their website. Coco.com don't exist yet. Coco.com don't exist. It's more of a partnership. So yeah, let me see. I can't let me see if I could go to their Instagram. All right. So as you can tell, these three partnered up in regards to speaking in the morning. So they
Mm-hmm.
were talking about Coco, the brand, as well as different points that they wanted to bring up, either about what they do or about the brand itself. And so I was actually able to connect very highly with Morano. I was able to take his class back in the day, Advanced Barber Systems,
Mm-hmm.
and it actually shifted everything that I was doing and caused me to go to another level of barbering for myself. So he was the first person that impacted me in regards in the barbering space, like understanding barbering and taking the ceiling off your income from a mental perspective and seeing your opportunities when it comes to services that you can provide that will increase your ticket as well as increase your pockets. So I really highly respect him. He's a good person as well. All right. So I hope you guys are enjoying this episode, because I didn't expect to be going on this long
Mm-hmm.
about this. But this was a really, really good expo. I'm gonna get out of here, stop sharing. But as you can tell, bro, I think that this situation was so good, because if you want to know your ability to grow in this industry, expos are a good tool to do so.
Yeah, yeah. So, what was your biggest takeaway from the expo?
I think my biggest takeaway from the expo was that more people care about the industry than I thought. I did not know that there were so many people that cared about other barbers. And I just honestly didn't know. I've seen people, I've gone to shows before, I've seen, but in my mind, it was all to make money. Like, oh, I'm trying to sell my products. Oh, I'm trying to sell my courses. Oh, I'm trying to sell this. That's what I thought. But this trip, I was able to connect with those people that do sell the products or that do sell the courses or do sell their mentorship programs. And I got a chance to feel their heart behind what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was stunned, because there's so many people that want to push the industry forward. It's just there's so many less barber and beauty professionals that truly want to get out of just being behind the chair
Yeah.
and do more. And it's a mindset shift. And so once a person, a barber or beauty professional, chooses to shift their mind and saying, man, like I want to do more than just cut, I want to do more than just services, they'll find so much more value in expos and different things, because they'll not just be going there to get discounts, they'll be going there to actually understand how to level up.
Right. And making more of a networking opportunity to learn and grow.
Yep. So
Well, I appreciate you sharing your experience with us about the NorCal Expo. Is there any last remarks that you want to make before we wrap up?
yeah, I'll say this to the listeners, man. There's one key thing, and I think that you all should take this with you, is about the word network. The word network, it can seem probably, like, oh, let's just get there and mingle and jingle. But no, networking has to do with casting a net. You literally cast a net and make connections with people, right, D? You
Mm-hmm.
cast a net and make connections with people. But after you make those connections, there's a lot of work that has to go into you keeping that net viable for future growth and
Mm-hmm.
for your own benefits, but at the same time to make sure that you can be a benefit to those people that you connected with. So you have to work on your net so that your net will work for you. So when you think about that, think about really trying to put yourself in a position to be a benefit to others because they have been a benefit to you in one way or another. So hopefully that helps you and is inspiring in some way.
I like how you broke that down. You gotta. I can't even repeat what you said. It was beautifully said about your network. You gotta cast your net so that it'll work for you. It was something like that.
Something similar, man. You
So
got
some
it.
some similar. Yeah.
You was close to it, man. But as if people come to this, please comment in the comment section for this show. Please like, please subscribe. Our
Share.
goal, yeah, share these episodes. Share the clips on YouTube, share the clip of the shorts that we create, share the Instagram clips that we're putting on, because we're trying to grow a community of barber and beauty professionals that actually are thinking elevated. We are not the elevated barbers. We are a part of those that are elevated. We are part of the barbers that are elevated. So we're trying to get to another level of barbering ourselves. We're always trying to level up, and we're creating a community of barber and beauty professionals that are doing the same. So in respect to the industry and respect to season 2, start sharing this, because we're really going
Please.
to provide so much value to those that want to level up, people that are trying to elevate in this industry. So forgive me for my little rant, man, but I'm so passionate because of this event. You realize how many people are trying to help. I just honestly didn't know. I just kind of figured people was out there to get their money, and a lot of people were selfish, but I was wrong. There's a lot
There's
of
a lot of
selfish
genuine
people.
people out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of selfish people, but there's a lot of genuine people. And I didn't even speak about everybody that I connected with. It would take too long. So I'll see you all on the next episode. We're gonna see y'all on the next episode. Please like, subscribe, share, help us grow. Because if we grow, then you grow.
Yep. And as my co-host so beautifully said, y'all, comment, share, like, subscribe, do all of that, help us grow so that we can continue to help you grow. This is the Prince of another level of barbering. Oh, I'm sorry, I
You
did
are,
it
no,
again.
you are,
No,
man.
we,
You
we
are,
are
bro.
we are elevating.
Yeah.
We are another level, but this is the Prince of the one and only Elevated Barbers Podcast. I'm out.
I'm Brad, owner of Another Level of Barbering, very proud co-host of the Elevated Barber Podcast. It's time to level up.
Peace.
Peace.